When I recently arrived to Ontario, it took me some time to be ready to obtain my driver's license. Uh, Being a driver for a few years in my native country, I had acquired some habits and some practices that I couldn't keep applying in this environment. And also, I needed to adapt to new rules and new settings in the city, on the roads. Things, for example, like the full stop is not practiced back in Colombia. Even you are at risk of causing an accident if you come to a full stop. You just come to an intersection, slow down, assess the risk, and then you proceed. If you fully stop, the vehicle behind you can impact you. So that was a new practice. Because of the design of the roads, we don't have the always stop. So that was a new concept for me as well. And also our roads are much narrower than here. So I think as a new driver, you need to come to Ontario with an open mind and with the willingness to completely delete some of those habits or retrain yourself in order to adapt and drive safely on these roads. Well, there are some big differences between Colombia and the roads in Ontario regarding safety. Things like the use of seat belts, it's mandatory back home as well, but car seats are not mandatory, so kids are allowed to be in a car without a car seat. There is legislation regarding drunk driving and also regarding texting while driving. However, we don't have the means to enforce those laws. So we don't have a demerit point, for example, the merit point system. So you just have a valid driver's license, or your driver's license gets suspended or canceled. So since we don't have the way of ensuring drivers are following the laws, it's really hard to have everyone driving under the same guidelines. Things, for example, like the speed limit. In one city, you will have a general speed limit for the whole city. It doesn't matter the particular area. If you are going through a school zone, mainly you will see a speed bump, so that's going to make drivers reduce speed. Other than that, you can drive on all the roads at the same speed. Same thing at highways, we have a maximum speed limit. So coming to Ontario, coming to Canada and driving here means that as a driver, I need to be aware and paying attention to the different signs and changes of the speed limits in the different areas of the city. So those are some of the big differences I noticed. Way more changes from one street to the next, way more signals for me to be aware of, and I will have to be adapting and paying more attention to my driving habits. Well, as a driver, I have always considered the left turn one of the biggest risks on the roads here. In Colombia, there is not left turn allowed on every road, and if there is, we will have a particular left turn sign, a light, that will tell you when it's safe to turn. So you are making sure you are not taking chances, as you have to do here, and it ensures the safety of yourself and other drivers around. So for me, I will say that's the biggest concern when I'm on the roads.
I am providing information about driving in general in the Middle East and specifically in Lebanon. There are 3 steps to get a driving license. First, you will find your 18th birthday gift, which is a new car, and you will find your driving license wrapped in a gift inside that car. The second step is that you will want to take the initiative and go and do the driving license, but you will ask a family friend who happens to work in that official office, and then he will do the whole procedure for you. You don't have to do nothing. The third step is that you will be determined to do it yourself, so you go apply, and then you might have some hard time getting your driving license, but you're determined to do it yourself. Yes, the drivers in back home, they are very aggressive drivers. There is no respect for traffic lights or signs or anything. Each person is for himself. there's no sign of civilization, and I'm sure that there's a lot of changes that needs to be taken there, specifically to enforce the law. Lots of differences in road safety in Ontario. In Canada, we have a lot of strict rules and regulations. Which is to do for the safety of pedestrians and cyclists and drivers. Back home, we don't have, we have rules and regulations, but they are not, nobody follows, and everybody is for his own. If someone stops on a traffic light, the people behind him will beep him. Even if it's a red light, they ask him to keep going. In Canada, if an ambulance is passing by, we have to move to the other side or stop for them to pass. But in Lebanon, if there's an ambulance, people will follow the ambulance to pass everybody and speed up. There are no pedestrian lanes. Pedestrians, if they want to cross the street, they have to make their way, force their way actually, or jump in between cars. Also, there are stop signs, but nobody, of course, nobody stops. Everybody keeps going. Even on an intersection, you will see somebody flying through without consideration for other vehicles that might be in his way. Seat belts are mandatory, but not everybody uses seat belts. Some people do, some people don't. Cell phones are prohibited. Nobody is allowed to use his cell phone or do texting while they're driving. But of course, everybody uses their cell phone. They don't care if they get a ticket or not. Car seats are not mandatory. But some people, and specifically the well-educated people, will use car seat and for the safety of their kids. The most challenges in driving in Canada is in winter driving, especially for people who come from warm countries. They've never driven in snow or in that cold, so they have no idea. That's why they might have difficulty in driving in that weather condition. Trucks, big trucks are very scary and very risky, so that's probably another challenge on the highways. Ice and black ice, specifically on newcomers or new drivers will not recognize the traffic sign procedures. Let's say a traffic light is off. The drivers in Canada will act as if it is a four-way stop sign. As for back home, they will all end up in the middle and everybody will be blocked. So everybody will jump and nobody will pass. So it will be like a jam. I cannot say that gender roles have an impact on the road safety. I would say that, of course, male gender are dominant in almost everything. When it comes to driving, the man is he will not accept that he will be driven by a woman. People believe in fate. Yes, they do believe in fate. They would put themselves in danger and thinking back there that, oh my God, if it's my time to die, no matter what I do, it's my time to die. So they're not afraid of taking risks in their driving.
Personally, I don't think the gender has an impact on road safety. I have seen careless drivers, both male and female, and also I have seen excellent drivers from both genders. So I think it's more of the attitude and the attention someone pays to the road and the conditions surrounding the road that makes someone a good driver or a not so good or a risky one. Well, I don't think that fate or destiny has an intervention on road safety. I don't come from a culture that believes too much into those kinds of things. It's a matter of being responsible and ensuring your safety and the one of those around you. Well, I think in Colombia we don't have much organization when it comes to traffic rules and road safety. So as a newcomer, if I would try to drive using the same practices used back home, I would represent a high risk for other drivers. So people here are expecting you to inform them in advance where are you planning to go, use your lights to turn, leave enough space between vehicles. So I don't think it's applicable to use the culture of back home when you are on the roads in Ontario.
Here you have 4 seasons. So coming here, driving on the road while it's winter season, it's very, very scary because sometimes the road is slippery and also narrow. And sometimes there's no other street, the snow is not, they don't take it fast like the big road. So I think these are the things people should know more when they come in Canada, because they do not have the season, all the season that Canada has where they are coming.
In Arabic countries, drivers drive fast but not safe. They don't have safety skills. There is a lack of the trust in their enforcement system and laws. Some people have special privilege because of the relationship with the authority in their country. These affect enforcement of the traffic laws and road user compliance.
I just took a 3-week vacation in China and traveled through 9 different cities from the north to the south. And one of the most memorable experience from my trip was how different the driving culture were between 2 countries. First, for the license, it is considerably more difficult to get a driving license in Ontario than it is in China. However, driving in China demands much more skill on the side of drivers. In Ontario, drivers are trained by practicing on actual public roads, and there are several grades of licenses. Conversely, in China, drivers are typically trained and tested in isolated testing ground, which do not entirely reflect the actual conditions on the road. Furthermore, road tests are usually easier in China than they are in Ontario. However, due to the high population of China, the rapid rise in private vehicle ownership, and the fact that many people do not rigorously obey the traffic signals, so driving in China is more challenging than it is here. 2 examples will illustrate the difficulty associated with a high population and the traffic density. In China, in some big cities, having a driving license and financial means to purchase a car doesn't guarantee one's right to drive. In some big cities, there's a long waiting list, and even there's a system like a lottery system for the assignment of the plate. Furthermore, in some large cities, on any given day, vehicles with certain plate numbers are forbidden from driving in order to reduce the amount of traffic and encourage people to carpool or use public transportation. Another difference concerns the concept of the right of way. In Canada, right of way is given to pedestrians and priority traffic. However, this is typically not the case in China. Of the cities that I have visited, there are only a few in the south area which respected the right of way of pedestrians. It is very important for pedestrians in China to be patient and cautious while crossing the street in large cities. On this topic of transportation, I would like to mention a few more things regarding the habits of drivers in China. In China, it is not as common to wear seat belts as it is here. For example, when you buckle your seat belt while sitting in the front seat of a taxi, the driver will often be surprised and may even interpret this as a lack of confidence in his driving abilities. Special car seats for children are also rarely found in China, where it is much more common to see parents holding small children on their laps while in the car. Due to the differences in traffic regulations, culture, and habits, it is very important to educate new immigrants on safe driving, especially with regards to yielding for pedestrians and the proper conduct in the vicinity of school buses and emergency vehicles. Regulations regarding things which are not commonly seen in China, such as carpool lanes and child safety seats, should also be emphasized. Finally, as an immigrant and a community settlement worker, I would like to thank the Ministry of Transportation for their efforts to ensure a safety transportation environment for everyone. Thank you very much.